time now for our press review, and it has been an exceptionally hot summer followed by an unusually hot fall here in France. Global warming is actually making a lot of the headlines today, and our press reviewer, Deeptika Laurent, is here to take us through them.
That's right, Alison. France is expected to experience temperatures of about 30 degrees in some parts this Thursday, just a few days before heading into winter daylight saving time. But it's not just France. There is a lot of focus on global warming internationally today. This is from the USA Today, which is headlining on a new annual report by the Lancet Medical Journal that was released this week, which has a particular focus on the impact of climate change on health in particular. Here in this report, they talk about the fact that, for instance, heart disease they talk about heart disease caused by particulate matter pollution, micropollutants that are increasing asthma in young children. The newspaper points to communities of color in its front page as being the most vulnerable, as well as the elderly, the young and pregnant women. In a nutshell, USA Today says fossil fuel pollution is a major killer of Americans right now when it comes to climate change related deaths.
And meanwhile, Deepti, another report has also been released on the climate this week. This one is by Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg in collaboration with key environmentalist personalities.
Well, she's on the front page of this Portuguese paper today, Público. You see her here. She's given an interview to the newspaper in which she talks about this new book that's called The Climate Book. It's really an anthology of essays written by her, but also 100 other climate personalities like climatologist Michael Mann or writer Margaret Atwood. She's also in the front. She's also in today's edition of Libération, the French paper, where they look at this book. They call this 446-page book, quote, remarkable and educational. It discusses themes. It's a very comprehensive look at the impact of climate change, discussing themes like rising sea levels, microplastics, the extinction of insects, pollution, fossil fuels, and so forth. Everything really that is threatening a sixth extinction of planet Earth. And as you can see here in Libération's cover, I'm not sure if we can zoom up on this, but this is the cover of the book, and it's very symbolic in itself because it represents the growing rise of temperatures from blue to red, that representing pretty much the 1600s up to now 2022.
Yeah, it sounds like a devastating and also very important read. We're going to head to Malaysia now, Deepti, where there's a general election looming in November.
That's right. It's actually a very crucial election, Alison. It was called by Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob to strengthen his party's mandate in the midst of a very damaging corruption and money laundering scandal. This election will be the first since new constitutional rules actually lowered the voting age from 21 to 18, which means now that Malaysian voters under 40 make up the biggest cohort of voters. And this is the focus of the Guardian's article today. It's also making the front pages of some of the Malay press. And they're actually looking at how voter participation may be hampered by rising living costs. It's here on the front page of the Borneo Post, where transport, this paper reporting here that transport providers have been urged to do their bit by reducing fares to make it possible for young voters to head back home, because indeed the rising cost of living could mean, as the New Straits Times explains here in another Malaysian paper, that young voters might not actually go to vote even though they'll be eligible because they simply cannot afford the bus fare, the boat fare, or the airfare to go home. So this could be this could impact the elections next month in a big way, particularly in those crucial swing states in Malaysia.
We'll be keeping an eye on that. Next, Deepti, to an extremely worrying story out of the Netherlands. Dutch authorities are investigating illegal Chinese police stations set up in Amsterdam and Rotterdam used to spy on exiled Chinese citizens. Yeah, that's right. The New York Times brings this story today, Alison. In fact, Dutch authorities opened that investigation yesterday after reports in the media of these illegal Chinese police stations, which are separate to its embassies and consulates, allegedly with the purpose of being there to spy on exiled Chinese citizens. One political dissident, for instance, told the Times that he received death threats while he was in the Netherlands and threats against his for the safety of his family.
for supporting the democratic movement of Hong Kong. Canada on Wednesday also reported similar Chinese policing stations on its territory. According to a human rights group, these police agencies are prevalent everywhere in the world in major cities, New York, London, and even here in Paris.
Wow. All right, Deepti, finally from you, one man's dream of starring as a corpse on a hit TV show has finally come true.
Yeah, and it's how he auditioned as a corpse that really is incredible. So this guy is Josh Nally. He's from Kentucky, and basically what he did was he posted viral TikTok videos every single day for the past year in which he sort of staged these scenes where he featured as a dead body in his neighborhood. He always captured the videos with the number of days that he was playing, quote, unalive until I'm cast in a movie or TV show. He's lain dead along banks of rivers, for instance, and streams. He had 3 dogs lick his face while he played dead against a tree. He floated dead in a pool. He slumped in a car, splattered across the sidewalk. Basically, everything imaginable he's done to draw attention to himself. And those videos, as you can see here, have received hundreds, tens of thousands of views. This is one that he did recently for Halloween, where he plays a dead guy with a pumpkin on his face. There's another one here as well, which is quite good. This was an old video. This is where he's lying dead in a stream with his dog by his side. It's actually all for a good cause. CSI producers reached out to him this July to offer him the role, the much coveted role of dead guy in one of their episodes. He'll be appearing in an episode of CSI next month as a dead guy. The producers of the show said nobody had done a more thorough job of auditioning for a non-speaking role in the history of television.
Well, I'm not sure there's an Oscar category for corpse, but if there is, I hope that man gets it. Deepti, thank you very much for taking us through today's press review.